Steve, go ahead.
All right, thank you for attending. This is the 31st meeting of Ecma TC54, 24th of July, 2025. As Samina noted earlier, the sessions are recorded. Let us know if you want edits after the fact. First order is to approve the prior minutes. So hopefully everyone has had a chance to look at those minutes. Again, these are basically an exact copy of what was in the running notes that Alyssa and others are maintaining. This didn't render well for some reason. Interesting. Okay. I'll have to fix the rendering on this. The content is accurate, but the rendering is kind of messed up. I will go ahead and fix the rendering now. Any objection to the content of this of these meeting notes?
No.
Okay. All right. Let's consider those approved, and I will make a note to format these correctly. All right. No new attendees today. Just one brief announcement, or not really an announcement, but just kind of a things that are coming up. And this is probably specific to Jan immediately, and then to the rest of the group for next meeting. We are now wrapping up today the work from the cryptography working group for the changes in the CBOM spec going into 1.7. So we are now done with that for the JSON schema. I am in the process of porting that over to XML and Protobuf. That will go out for community review today in time for next month's TC54 meeting, which I hope to have a vote for. I've also invited two of the folks from IBM who have been active in developing the CBOM spec since its early inception, including all the changes that are going into 1.7. And those folks will present at next month's TC54 meeting on the changes to CBOM in 1.7. Does anybody else have announcements?
Yes, Steve, if I could make a few. First, I want to just also recognize, I just did it earlier before we began the recording. I want to recognize the work that Lars did regarding the response to the European Commission on the call for if the regulation, EU legislation and standardization regulation, if they're effective. I think there were about 200 responses. Ecma also did a response. I think it's very relevant. So let's wait and see what those results do. I also want to announce that we are pending a meeting with CRA Mondays, which is an opportunity for TC54 to showcase themselves and have a broader visibility. I've put it out on our calendars. It's scheduled for the 1st of September. The hours are in the afternoon hours of Europe, so it enables US time. But please let us know if that also fits the other speakers. You all can respond on the email that I sent out. And also to make a small announcement that for FOSDAM 2026 coming up in January timeframe, we should think about something to do together. So I know that is already in conversation with me and Ole, but let's see what we can do. I think it would be great visibility for this working group, and it's a very relevant topic.
It is, Samina. We're trying to, so for the OWASP Foundation, we're actually aligning our board meeting with to line up with FOSDEM to optimize travel. But yeah, I will be at FOSDEM next year. And I think there's a huge opportunity for TC54 relevant room because we have a lot of interesting specifications in development that are in the open. I think we'd have a receptive audience there.
Yeah. Just there, so to add to this, we have this event the day before FOSDEM on Friday, which is about code. It's a workshop on security and license compliance tooling, open source security license and security and license compliance tooling. So it's also an opportunity to do something there. But if we want to have something specifically about TC54 and things don't work out to get a developer room, I can help with getting a room the day or 2 days before FOSDEM or the day after FOSDEM to have an event there easily. I'm local, so.
Thank you, Philippe. I think that would be great. When Ole is back, we can certainly talk about this a little bit deeper.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
the event we organize the day before FOSDEM is usually, well, there's been a bit more than 100 people last time and about the same number the year before. So it's enough to have a single track, single room event. There's plenty of events the days before FOSDEM, so it's perfectly okay to have multiple things. Just don't do this on Friday. Let's not do it on Friday at the same time we have the about code thing. Well, we'll talk a lot about Perl and software supply chain security and CycloneDX.
Okay.
I've been there last time, and I can attest that it was a really, really good event. Thank you for putting it together.
Yeah. So we're trying to do more of it, and I know that probably the folks from the Eclipse Foundation, they did something on the Open Regulatory Compliance Working Group, the one that organized the CRM Mondays. So they did something, I think it was on Wednesday before FOSDEM. And then on Thursday, there was also the Chaos Conference, which is a project at the Linux Foundation that does metrics on open source projects. So it's perfectly okay. By the way, whenever you do something, if we do something specifically for TC54, I'd like to be involved as much as possible to help also with the logistics. And I know, Steve, that there's been some discussion going on with OWASP and about code to do something also together. So the more the merrier.
Yep.
We will keep the whole committee abreast of what's going on. Thank you.
Yeah.
Samina, one other possibility, not really an announcement, is that ATIS, which is a standards organization for 3G, 5G networks, they have been participating in the CBOM working group, and
You mean Etsy?
ATIS, ATIS.
Okay.
They're a standards body specifically for wireless industry.
Okay.
And they've been participating, and I think there's some opportunity there that we should likely discuss offline.
Very good.
They're going to be adopting it because we were able to add the few missing pieces that would be relevant to their industry.
Okay, very good. I will keep abreast of that too. Thank you.
And just a tiny announcement on the side, which is the Perl. So the rustcrates.io website, which hosts all the Rust packages. No way, I am not able to speak clearly today. And pasting doesn't work. Anyway, they now have adopted Perl, and they display Perl on each package website, which is great. Which means really being able to, there's no reason not to go with Cyclone, with crates. Which is really nice. I don't know who was responsible for that, but that's just pure gravy.
That's great.
Yeah, I'm showing it on the screen here.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, this is amazing. Okay. I think we have the necessary folks on the call to review this license proposal. Philippe, have you had a chance to look at this PR in detail?
Absolutely not. I'm sorry. I'm so behind on everything. So but I don't want to be in the way if you, I still think it's potentially problematic to mix in the same fields or different semantics. But if that helps in particular with migration, let's go with it.
So let's take a look at this. And maybe Jan can kind of walk us through the actual changes to the JSON spec.
Sure. So basically the use cases that we want to allow or make it possible to have in CycloneDX, especially to tell for components or whatever it is, the license situation when it comes to SPDX license expressions. We currently support that feature exactly once, and this is a problem when it comes to having declared SPDX license expressions and acknowledged. I don't know, what's the other thing? Not declared, the
Concluded.
the concluded
Oh, I see.
expressions exactly, and we can't have them both. That's the problem that should be solved, and therefore the change basically is, instead of allowing from the implementation JSON schema implementation wise, we change it from having a tuple with just one element to multiple elements. So we go
Sure.
from a tuple with one element to an array or list with indefinitely many items. So this would allow us to have both types of acknowledged expressions in there, and the benefit for the evidence is that we could collect multiple evidences for expressions which we were not able to in the past. So this should free up some features that actually some license analysis and enhancement tools want to do. The fear from Philip, totally understandable. Currently, we could just have one element, which means we either have exactly the declared license or the concluded license. And now we could have multiple declared ones or multiple concluded ones, which is a whole nother topic. And this is going to be tackled in yet another ticket, and the pull request is already there. But since this is not done yet, the other thing just wasn't tackled yet, so not finalized. It will be probably in a month there will be a solution for that, I guess.
Okay.
I
So,
remember.
yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to briefly say, I remember when I think his name was Nick, if I remember right, from Clearly Defined. I remember when he presented their API to us a while back. They had multiple packages where the expression, the concluded one and the declared one were different. So this kind of meets that use case that we can't do today, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So again, I'm fine to go with it. I would have preferred slightly different semantics, but we can always refine it later on, and that's okay. To me, I think it's good to go.
Yeah, I mean, we will probably change this whole topic with version 2.0 CycloneDX.
Yeah.
Since then we would probably just have a clearly
That's probably the right way to
field
go.
for the one thing for declared and one field for concluded, and then it's clear which one is which one, and you can just only have one and everything. But for now, that's our only option, I guess, to fix this feature lag.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, this makes sense. Thank you, Jan. That's the major change. I see that you made some other changes up here, but it looks just like optimization type stuff.
Yeah, I had to refactor the schema to reuse some definitions here and there to not copy paste it everywhere. I mean, it will be much clearer when we render this back then.
Always is. Okay. Thank you, Jan. Let's see. Let's look at some examples here. So you've got, in this case, you've got an expression. In this case, you've got an expression with expression details. Okay, that's fine. And then you've got, okay. Oh, right. So here's your expression concluded license. Okay. And then 2 expressions, 1 declared. This is the thing that I saw and clearly defined when we were looking at the demo, which I believe uses scan code under the covers. So yeah, 2 expressions, 1 declared, 1 concluded. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these examples were they're not really law cases, but practical cases that people came up in the past when they did manual review of some open software components and found, yeah, authors declared in a stupid way and it's utterly wrong. We have to fix that and communicate it.
Okay.
That's where it came from.
I think this is good for 1.7. If there's things that we can optimize for 2.0, we can do that. But I think this is good. So let's go ahead and take a vote on this. Are there any objections to accepting this change to 1.7? All right.
No objection.
I hear none.
Yeah.
What's that?
No objection.
Okay. All right. Congratulations, John. Let's go ahead and mark this as accepted. Looks like you already did. Okay. Awesome. You're ahead of me. And let's go ahead and merge this in if we can as well. Also, one thing, Jan, if you could help me, I think the cryptography, I may need some help on the cryptography branch, getting that in a mergeable state. So I'll ping you when that's kind of ready. Okay, that's it for the promotions. Let's see, is Ole here? No, he's still gone. Piotr, I'm gonna call on you perhaps. Do we have an update on where we are with TG1?
We didn't have any meetings, so Ole had to cancel the community meeting.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
But I'm
so we'll get an update.
I'm generating vexes, so we will have something to distribute through T.
Right on. I'm trying to one thing that I am trying to figure out with the CycloneDX 2.0 schema, the 2.0 schema, just for clarification, we're going to end up, besides the modularity that 2.0 has, we're ultimately going to end up with 2 schemas that are delivered, one for the normal like BOM use cases, one specific for APIs. The one for API is the thing that's going to fit in T for the insights. So when you ask the API questions, you're going to get a normalized model back. That normalized model is in fact CycloneDX 2.0. One thing that I'm trying to figure out, however, and is when you perform a query against something to get data back, because it's an API, just because you requested data doesn't mean that you have access to said data. So if I'm requesting an object and I don't have access to it, well, that's fine. I can do like a, I can't remember the HTTP error code, but you know, I can do an unauthorized type of response back. That's easy. But it becomes a little bit more challenging when I request something and I request data of that something, and only part of that I don't have access to. That becomes a little bit more challenging. How do we represent that? So that's one thing that I am working on. And Piotr, if you have any ideas, or Lars, if you got any ideas for maybe how to do this, don't want to solve it now, but you know, offline, in terms of maybe this is something we can kind of tackle in the summer while Ole is kind of off. I would really love to get your feedback on this.
So the problem is mostly for the LLM not to leak information it has trained, right?
No, 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 no. I'm saying that, you know, if the query is, well, give me all the cryptographic ciphers that you have, along with the this particular what would be a good example? Along with how you actually validated that these algorithms met FIPS 140-2. Right? Maybe that's my query. And the response might be, well, here's all the cryptographic ciphers, but I'm not going to tell you about the formulation information because you don't have access to it. So therefore, I'm giving you part of what you asked for, but not the entire thing. How do we handle cases like that? I don't know yet. So this is something we need to start discussing, because this needs to be part of that 2.0 Cyclone model for the API.
Do you have anything there already, like a draft or an issue where you're discussing this, or something we could reference?
Not yet. Not yet. I'll get something created so we can iterate on that, though.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Philippe, update on TG2.
Yes, update on TG2. So we're doing great progress. I hope there's not too much background noise because it seems to be a hailstorm here. And it's doing a hell of a noise. Update on TG2 on Perl. We are about to merge a massive and important PR to adopt a JSON schema to define the Perl definition types, which is really the last blocking item to go into the spec. And there's great feedback from Jan and Piotr on this. I'm going to address all that. I'm really looking forward to merge this quickly and eventually do some adjustment afterwards if need be. Once we have that, there's a few adjustments, but we can eventually tag a version 090, which will be the first tag, which is not the spec, but it's really working towards the spec, which will provide in ready format to this committee by September 1st. That's the plan. So it's going well. Anything special to highlight? Not really, except, as I said, first, Rust has adopted Perl. The other thing is the CV.org organization in the US from MITRE, which managed basically the CV database and all the CNAs, is working diligently towards an adoption of Perl in the CV schema, which is great.
That is amazing. That's a huge milestone.
Yeah, that would be huge, because that's opening all kind of worm, because of course, what about everything that's not easy to manage with a Perl? So there's some work done by Steve and others. I have some ideas around what we can do around C++. So that's that. The other thing is that there's great work done by Matt, which is on this team, on this call, Matt Rukowski and team, to put together a decent website for package URL. It's not directly related to the specification, but I think it's really worthy to note. And that's it for me.
All right. And we got this is like one potential new organization that's going to be contributing to package URL standardization,
Very true.
right? Oracle.
Yeah, Oracle. It's a small US-based software company.
Yeah, tiny. Might have heard of them. We do have the current draft available. So this is the draft of the specification. There's still a lot of work to be done here. I think the team is still fleshing out the type schema. So this part is going to change a little bit. And then we just need to, I need to go in here and actually lowercase all these musts, shoulds, mays, because it violates Ecma.
Or we can change everything from Ecma. I'm sure Samina will be okay with that.
No comment.
Okay, so I'll take that as a no.
So it's some minor editorial things in here, but the actual specification is pretty much done. And the type schema is one of the last remaining bits. Is that a fair statement, Philippe?
Yes, so it's going to be two schemas. We don't need to have both there, but I probably prefer to have both. There's one schema for the type definition and one schema for the tests. Some of it which can be type specific, some of it which don't have to be type specific. They could be combined in a single schema if need be. But I think it's a bit easier and cleaner to have that as two different schemas.
Are we going to include the index in here or no?
We can, but the index is literally a list of pearls. It's an array of pearls, so it's not much of a
Right. True.
It's one way or the other. It's so
Doesn't really
simple
matter.
that it doesn't reserve much specification.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else, Philippe?
No, that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
So lots of interesting development, lots of work, but great community participation, which is really nice.
All right. Let's see. Is Benji here? I know Jordan's out.
And I need to run. I'm sorry, but I want to make sure that there's not too much water that goes into the house.
Thanks, Philippe.
Thank you. Bye now.
I do have an update from Benji. He DM'd me on Slack. The team is currently working on, there's only a few minor things left for the CLE standard that they're working on. One is pagination. If you have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, millions of events, how do we actually paginate the events? So that's one thing they're working on. We are working on what is the best way to represent an append only model. So that's another thing they're working on. And the last thing is, or two things, is what will we do with withdrawn events? We've kind of decided as a group that the events themselves cannot be modified once we produce the events, which means that if you need to make a correction, well, you can't. So we're going to have the ability to withdraw prior events so that we don't have to redo pagination and it becomes very, very simple. We're also discussing some rules about ordering those events. But other than that, I mean, these are some fairly minor thing. I mean, they're not minor, but in terms of all the work that has been done, these are their last remaining bits that that the team is working on. The last thing on the agenda was the formation of TG4. And I know, Samina, the last time you wanted some more folks on, I don't know if we have representation from those folks today or not.
I
It's
think you
not
have some
time
different
critical.
folks. Sorry, I think you have some different folks on the call today. It is important that you have good feedback from your broader community or committee to move forward with this TG. If you would like to start it already, or if you would like to wait one more cycle of meetings when summer holidays are over.
Sure. Let me get feedback from folks now then. Hopefully folks have had a chance to take a look at the Google Doc and the actual scope and program of work, which is right here. It's been published for quite some time already. The one feedback that I have received is on the name. So going with something potentially a little bit more simpler that is more universally understood. But the premise of this TG is to work on a standalone specification that could represent sustainability information for maintainers to assert. So think about like in your open source repository, you could assert, hey, I need funding, or I need marketing assistance, I need event planning, I need code review, I need, whatever the case is. And we actually have a formal taxonomy of what those things are. So that's essentially the genesis of why this is created, right? And kind of the purpose. Any comments? I'll pause.
I have one not specifically related to this, but a meta comment, so I'll let others go first. Okay, but if no one says anything, then I'll just go ahead. I have it's really a question. So we looked at this last time. I think it's good. So I don't have a comment on this in particular. It is maybe not the right venue for this question, but still, we have this kind of specification, this file where I can put meta information in. We have the CLE stuff that's upcoming. We have things like security.txt. The OpenSSF is starting a compliance MD, and they have a security insights MD. And there's like, let's say I want to do the perfect open source project today. I would have like 17 metadata files in my repository, I think right now. And I'm wondering if any one of you has like an overview of all these things that exist, and whether there's anything that ties them together somehow. It's okay if no one knows. I don't know either, but I'm losing track of all these files. I know they all serve a good purpose and they are useful, but I'm losing track of all the things I could do to communicate with the outside world in a structured way. And I'm wondering if anyone knows any resources that can help.
I think there is some documentation from GitHub on contributing on the name of the files they use. It certainly was discussed in the GitHub maintainers community, but I think there are some documents which are public. But yeah, it would be really useful to to list all the files that are used by various automation, like yeah.
Yeah, like a community health, or I don't know. It's just this is part of outreach, I guess. Yeah, because how would people learn about this specification? I think is part of my question. It's okay. It's an open question. It has nothing to do with this, but in particular, I was
It's
just
valid, though.
wondering.
It's valid because you got security.txt, right, which is technically an RFC, and then you've got the markdown version of that pretty much everybody uses. But to my understanding, like contributing.md and all these other things, they're conventions, not standards. And this is going to be a standard, and I think there's a huge opportunity to well, there's a couple huge opportunities. One is to kind of bring everybody into the fold so that we're all kind of working on the same thing. And two, and I know what I plan to do with this from the OWASP Foundation perspective. I want to put, once we actually have something like this defined and it's ratified, I want to put this across all multiple hundreds of repositories that we have so that we can clearly communicate the needs of each and every one of our open source projects at a foundation level, right? That would be massive. And as maybe you're a law firm, or maybe you're a marketing firm or whatever, and you use open source software and you're wondering how maybe you contribute back because you don't have technical talent, you can't contribute code, but you can contribute maybe time, right, to do logo designs or, whatever. That would be incredibly useful. You could discover that through automation via GitHub. So I think there's a huge opportunity, but you're right, Lars. In terms of outreach, I think it's going to be critically important for us to be able to get everybody together and working on the same thing. What I think I'll do, I'm not hearing any objections, but what I think I'll do is I'm going to punt this until the next TC. So we'll do the vote on TG4 for the next TC. Hopefully we can get some folks that haven't been here and haven't been the last two times anyway to attend. I'd like to get some more perspectives just to make sure that everybody is kind of on the same page and this is all something that we agree that we should go forward with. So I'm going to wait on that, I think, if that's okay with you, Samina.
It's absolutely fine. It's up to the committee, so I think that's great.
Okay. Any new orders of business people want to bring forward? I'm seeing a bunch of shaking heads. Okay. I don't really have anything. I just have I guess some housekeeping things. To my understanding, Ecma is going to be backing up our GitHub repositories. So I've granted an Ecma TC's user on GitHub the ability to do so. So I'm working with Aki on that. And that's really about it. Jan, I will talk to you later today on, or actually you'll probably be asleep by the time I do it, but tomorrow, I'm probably going to need some help on getting that cryptography branch in a mergeable state. It's been isolated for a fairly long time. All right. Well, I think we can probably call the meeting then. So if nobody has anything else, I'll let everyone get 17 minutes back. So with that, have a great rest of your day, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Oh, Steve, do you have a sec?